And I'm Dan Beck. I am the director of LGRMS and Local Government Risk Management Services. You can see my email below. So if you have any questions, you need anything, and you're not able to ask those during the webinar, please send me an email, and I will respond to those. So, and there's going to be some things that I'm looking at providing you if upon request. So this is how you would request that information. Again, this process is a year-round process, and the premise of this call is really to focus on loss analysis and action planning, but wanted to talk about the general expectations in regards to the safety discount program. Again, it's a year-round process, so it's not, do it in a week and then forget about it. It's really the expectation is to manage this all the year round, with all the expectations, and the safety action plan being one of those. To be eligible for the 2018 policy year, ACC safety discount verifications forms are due, but no later than September 15th, 2017. Again, if you have any questions regarding those, the process, please contact Penny Henderson. Her information is there. Our LGRMS field reps will basically be making visits to your organizations, looking at all the requirements and the safety action plans through October of 2017, as we have in the past. So hopefully, again, a lot of the stuff, the information, going to be the same stuff we've talked about previously. We'll just reiterate and talk about some, again, hopefully have some questions and be able to talk about real-world issues out there. So the safety action plan is a requirement for the 7.5% safety discount under workers' compensation. It's workers' compensation only. Again, that's the only expectation, so it's not required for IRMA or property and liability requirements or any other insurance pool, just the workers' compensation with ACCG. Again, the plan, developed the plan in 2017 for January 2018 renewal. While ACCG provides assistance, ownership is really at the member level. And again, that's where it's going to catapult you into true success. And we want to make sure that the plans are integrated and real within your organization. Again, it should be completed by September 15th for review by the LGRMS field reps. Any questions at this point? Let's see, we got a couple questions out there. Charlotte says, "Go Ashley." So you got a fan there, Charlotte or Ashley.
Thank you so much.
And I got a smiley face from Sherry. So there you go. Very good. More comments than questions at this point in time. So why are we here? Ultimately speaking, again, our true intent is to reduce the impacts to our employees within the organizations and their families. There's nothing more horrific than to be injured at work and injured in a catastrophic manner. We want to see everybody go home in the same condition, if not better than the condition they came into work. So ultimately, that's our biggest goal. But again, with that, everybody wants to get the discount. That's the expectation. And ultimately, we want to reduce claims, and we want to reduce costs for the entire insurance pool. And as you can see below, over a 3-year period, we had about 9,300 claims at about $60 million over that 3-year period. That's 2014, 2015, 2016. Now, that's not developed. So more than likely, based on development factors, that probably will reach about $100 million. So we're looking at probably $30+ million a year in workers' compensation losses. That's a lot of money. And again, the way that works is all those losses, ACCG's insurance pool is a nonprofit, and that's all basically distributed back to the members. So in order to reduce the premiums for all members, we have to reduce the entire losses for the pool. Any questions or comments regarding that slide? Again, what is the purpose of the action plan? Well, it really helps leaders understand what the driving claims are. Ultimately speaking, again, we can do a lot of different things, but if leadership is not engaged in the process, if leadership isn't driving things, ultimately you're not going to have long-term sustainable action. What's going to happen is it could be driven from a lower level, but you're not going to get the resources, you're not going to get the support. The leaders need to know what's going on. They need to know where their issues are and what the priorities are so they can help drive those actions. It enables focus on meaningful risk controls. So again, once you've identified where those losses are, you're going to put meaningful actions towards those. Ultimate goal is to better protect employees from similar accidents. Again, financial incentives to reduce future premiums through safety discounts and lower experience modifications. So that's really the purpose of the action plans ultimately.
Dan,
go ahead.
Could I just interject here on the experience mods? I just want folks to know that we do rate each individual member based off of their own risk, what kinds of exposures they have with the workers, and obviously more hazardous jobs have higher rates than, say, clerical. But then we also apply not only safety discounts for those that have earned them, but we have an experience rating factor, and we're looking at the most recent 3 years, not including the current year. And if your actual losses have been more than what we would have expected them to be based upon your risk profile, then you will be paying more in your workers' compensation premium. And likewise, if they're less than expected, then you'll be paying a lesser premium. So it is very important not just to get your safety discount, but also to lower your premiums in future years if you can keep your losses down.
Very good. Very good. So this is what we suggest in regards to developing the action plan. And really, I think develop small teams to conduct loss analysis. Probably the first step is, from my perspective, before this, is really identify those departments with the biggest opportunity for improvement. You can see that. You'll be able to see that. We'll talk about that a little bit later, where people are having the claims. But within those departments, I would say develop small teams to conduct loss analysis. The premise behind that is you or the department manager or a couple supervisors could probably do that, but if you get more people engaged, people that are really looking to provide constructive efforts to reduce claims, ultimately speaking, you're going to have more ownership in regards to the analysis itself, but also the action planning, and that's what we're looking for. So it's easy to do these things in a bubble, sit down individually. The difficult part is to get people to participate and to own the process later on. And if you've engaged them in the initial process, more than likely they're going to help drive the action plan after it's been completed. So you're going to gather loss analysis data and identify 1 or 2 focus areas. Again, probably I would do that first and then develop small teams, talk to supervisors, talk to department managers, and get 3 or 4 frontline people, a couple supervisors, and maybe the department managers themselves to participate in that team. Educate organization and leaderships on loss analysis and get their commitment to develop implementation of the action plan. Again, if the overall organization, if your county commissioner or county administrator has not bought into this process, if they're not going to support this process, if they're not going to drive it after it's been completed, it's going to be an uphill battle to get people to resolve it. So get commitment from these folks. Work with focus areas leadership to develop a small to develop implement action planning. Again, you're going to do the same thing. Work with them develop the action plan internally with that small team. And I think you'll see success that way. So we're going to talk about that a little bit later. Who should be involved in the process? Again, really anybody that's engaged in the safety action planning, but from my perspective, those people that own the incidents are those department managers, are those department supervisors, are those departmental employees. So you definitely want to get those engaged. The safety coordinator, if that's yourself or other people, they can be engaged. And I see them more as a resource, a person that's going to provide information, that's going to give the information to the supervisors, going to help with some expertise on potential solutions. But the action plan really needs to be owned by that department. ACCG, risk control, LGRMS, again, we can help provide expertise, we can provide resources, and we can provide some direction, but ultimately speaking, the action plan has to be yours and your department's. Elected and appointed officials are very good. Get them engaged. Make sure they know more top-line information, what the losses are, and what your big picture actions are going to be to reduce those. Again, supervisors and managers, they really need to own this process. They need to own the development, and they need to own the implementation. And we're going to talk about putting their names on these action plans to ensure they do have that ownership. Any questions thus far? So, how are opportunities identified? Again, we're going to provide you with a loss analysis that is really by department and by cause over the last 3.5 years, so 2014 through year to date, and that should be coming soon to you. So you'll that'll actually be batched out and sent to each of the members within the workers' compensation insurance pools. We want you to analyze and prioritize where are the most dollars spent, which accidents are most frequent, where can more direct loss control efforts be applied to reduce similar accidents. You know, we're going to send you a lot of numbers, a lot of data, a lot of information. And sometimes data and information doesn't always tell you the truth. Ultimately speaking, you might have $1 million of claims in one particular area, but that was from one claim that probably is not likely to occur again. So are you going to look at that area? Probably not. You're going to try and find areas that you have the ability to control. Maybe you have a loss somewhere that you don't have any control over at all. Probably would not look at that as an opportunity. You want to find something that, again, has a high frequency and potentially a frequency of reoccurrence and costs associated with that, and the ability for you to control. So let's look at some examples. This is what's going to be shot to you. This is an example of the ACCG loss run, and it will be sent out to you. Again, it's sorted by department, then by cause. And again, you can see within this particular county, this is an example that I took, that the Sheriff's Department has a great deal of losses in here. And again, you got the claims count for each exposure. Again, the first one up there is burnt exposure chemicals. You have 2 losses. You have the incurred. You have the largest, or you have the total paid. You have reserved. You have average incurred loss, and then the largest incurred loss. So in this particular case, you have 2 claims. One of them, more than likely, because it's the largest incurred loss, is $340, and that's your total. So is that something you're going to look at? Is that something that you're going to focus on? Probably not. But if we're going to go to the next page, here's some additional information. The Sheriff's Office is continued. You will look through that. You got the next department is the water. You have the next department, which is public transportation, and it'll go through all your departments to determine. So the first thing is you're going to look at which department has the biggest exposure, the most claims, and the highest dollar amount. Again, you might need to look at that a little bit, because one department might be a one-off. You might have one department that had one claim that's not going to reoccur again based on different factors, but was a very expensive claim. So are you going to put all your resources to reduce that claim that more than likely is not going to reoccur again? Probably not. But you will look at, again, departments with high frequency. So if we look at all these different things, you can see some of the different trends throughout the Sheriff's Department. That might be somewhere you want to focus based on that. We also have, within LGRMS, we have some other opportunities for loss analysis. And this is where you can send me an email to request those. So the first one of these, and again, it's not going to be completely jive with the report that is being sent to you via Ashley. This is a little bit, it's same basic data, but it was pulled at a different time. So they're not going to be exact numbers, and the analysis is going to be a little bit different. But if you look at this, this is a report that I can run at a touch of a button, and for each member. And the first slide here is really showing you your claims rate of claims over $500 per 100 employees. And so if you look at the top here, 6.17 was their rate in 2014, 15, 16, and then their overall 3-year rate. So how does that compare to the pool on average? This is, again, by department. So it'll break it down within each of the particular departments, looking at where the claims are. So again, this should be, say, Sheriff's Office, but you can look at this. Sheriff's Office, 33% of the claims numbers regarding dollars, they're 23% of the dollars. But you look at Public Works, they have 32% of the dollars associated with that, but only, see, Public Works, we can see it down here, they have 11% of the claims. So those might be areas that you want to look at. Those might be areas that you'll focus on, and this report will help you do that. If you go down to all departments, this kind of gives you by category or program. So you can see the biggest on number of claims was non-category. This would be struck by, caught between, things to that effect, sharp objects, dog bites, things to that effect. 46% of claims are non-contact, but if you look over here, they're only 23% of the cost, because a lot of those things really don't cost a lot. The biggest opportunity from a workers' compensation perspective is within ergonomics. So lifting, strains and sprains, pushing, pulling, things to that effect are the biggest opportunity in regards to the dollars associated with all departments. Then you can go to specific departments. Again, looking at fire here, but this is where their issues are. Exposure, 32%. But if you can go over to see the cost, there's only 15% of claims. So this is falls of the same level. It was a big opportunity. Struck by, caught between. These are things that you can look at to determine where really your focus is. And again, this goes down to more of a contact type, and you can see that slips and falls are the biggest opportunity within the fire area. You have, again, with that 33%. Again, non-contact at 44%. A lot of general things in that particular area. So if we go on to the next slide, this is, again, a report that we had in previous years, and this will give you basically similar information in a one-page format. It'll tell you where your losses are, and we've broken it down by operations, which is really Public Works, the Roads Department, Emergency Services, which is Fire, EMS, Law Enforcement, which is the Sheriff's Office, Administration, and Public Service. Those are probably within the Parks and Recs and other services related to that. But you can see within this particular area, they can get the number of claims, the cost of the claims, and the percentages of both. Goes down to the next underneath here. This will give you a breakdown of what type of claims. You can see that Ergonomics has 79 claims, $676,000, about 48% of claims dollars, 19% of claims. So that might be an area to focus on. You can go through each of the departments. It'll give you a snapshot on this one page. Where are there claims occurring? So you have Ergonomics within the emergency services, your fire area, law enforcement, slips and falls, and motor vehicles within that particular area. So all that data, it'll tell you percentages, but you might want to know more specifics regarding these particular claims, and we can provide that information to you. This is our dashboard raw data report, and again, this will give you the date of loss, your location, the claimant's name, and claims description, the department, a basic cause, a contact, a program, and then what's been spent on it, and the total incurred. And the total incurred is paid plus reserve. So if you're looking for this information, you can request this. I will be sending this via secured link. We'll have it encrypted, and you'll get this report because of the names on there. So if you're looking for that, again, send me a request via email, and I can get you that information. Safety Action Plan. Again, this has been updated from the previous year. So if you're looking for the new format, you can go to ACCG's website at accginsurance.org. I put the actual link to that on this page, so you can go use that page, and the page below will come. And as you can see, within that page, you go down under additional form downloads. It says Sample Safety Action Plan, and you can actually download there, and you can put data directly into that form and save it and be able to send that in to us. Again, versus having to handwrite it, you can type it into that particular form. So this is available anytime you want to pull that down. This is what it looks like. Again, the new version, and you can, again, we'll go through this a little bit farther, but you'll have what departments you're going to focus on. You will look for that. You know, whether it's the sheriff's office or public works or fire or EMS or whatever department you have the biggest opportunity, you're going to identify 2 departments, and then within each of those particular departments, you're going to identify where their losses are occurring.
Dan, if I could just interject there with this new form, you'll see towards the bottom of this slide it says progress over the last 12 months. It's very possible that you're having the same issues or similar issues in the same department, and so what we wanted to be able to do for you is give you a place to show that even though this is still one of your target areas, that you have made some progress over the last 12 months. So to give some kudos, but then also to reevaluate kind of where you are now and what actions you need to take over the next year. So if it's a new department, new item, you don't really need to address, obviously, the progress over the last 12 months, unless, of course, you've done something and want to put it out there.
Thank you very much, Ashley. Very good. We'll talk about that a little bit more, but that's excellent. So this is we've input that in. This is just, again, looking at an example of what we're looking at here. You can customize it based on where your opportunities lie. And again, they could be the sheriff's office. It could be any department that you're looking at. This is just based on some different claims that we've had. And I filled this out for the sheriff's office. Again, it's the #1 focus department. It's the #1 opportunity within ACCG's workers' compensation. They have the biggest percentage. Again, motor vehicle incidents I've identified as the issue, 37%. So the risk reduction goal, the purpose of this is really to see potentially on a claims or on it's hard to put a goal on a dollar figure because you don't have a lot of control over that. And it's better to focus on, from my perspective, incidents related to this. So if you're focusing on ergonomic-related incidents, back injuries, slips and falls, focus on numbers of incidents and or reported incidents. And again, within this goal, I put 2014 to 2017 year to date. We've averaged about 12 motor vehicle incidents per year. We'd like to have a goal of below or 6 or below. So a 50% reduction. What is the purpose of the goal? Well, the goal gets everybody on the same page. It alerts everyone to where you have the biggest opportunity. And it also allows you to measure your progress. So you can say you're very successful, or you need to go back and work on that. If you don't develop that goal, if you don't have some goal in mind, the action plan is not going to result. You're not going to know what the result is, whether it's success or a failure. And again, let's say, for instance, you had a goal of 6 and you met that 6 goal. Well, then you know that a lot of your initiatives have been successful, and you're gonna think you've been successful. Let's say that you had a goal of 12 and you had 13 motor vehicle incidents the next year. You might want to look at your action plan and say, was it aggressive enough? Were we really focusing on the right things? Is there something else we should be doing? And again, when you look at that progress over the last 12 months, as Ashley talked about, that's where you might put that. We've been successful, and based on that, we've changed this, or we haven't been successful, and this is how we've changed. You have 3 items, and again, I would suggest for those larger members that have more resources, don't be afraid to add items. Again, communicating, the first item under communicate the goal and its status to department and monthly meetings. The premise is to ensure that every member of the department and or office understands what the goal is, so they have ownership. We measure, or we manage what's being measured, and if it's not being measured, it's not being reported, people aren't going to think it's important. Again, looking at your motor vehicle policy might be something. Enhancing that, developing a post-incident investigation system, providing training, all those different things are important. Now, let's say that you had back injuries, and you said, well, our risk reduction is we're going to provide everyone training. Is training a magic bullet? From my perspective, it's not. It's one piece of the pie. You need to do more things than just train. If you train everyone in how to lift safely, but you don't do anything to change their work environment so that they can lift safely, then they're just going to continue to do the same thing they've always done. You need to work with them to change their work environment and or behaviors. The same thing with defensive driving, the same things with slips and falls. Training people does not necessarily provide the behavioral change that's going to result in a reduction of claims. We need to get leadership engaged. We need to change we need to look at the root cause of whatever these issues are and put actions in place to address that root cause. Questions or comments? With that being said, again, the bottom of the action plan is really a location for the top elected official or administrator manager, so the county manager, county commissioner, to print their name and sign it to say, hey, I own this program. I'm committed to the implementation of this particular action plan. The same thing with the department leader of the number 1 focus area and the leader of the department for number 2. Have them put their names there, have them sign it, have them make some acknowledgement. And again, if you want things to be done, have them have some accountability within the owner's name of the action plan, so that and put dates that are really will hold them accountable to get those things done that are realistic. You don't want to put something out there that they can't achieve. You don't want to put something out there that they're not going to be able to do, or they don't have the resources to do it. Personally, I would rather have, again, if I had my ability to do it, I'd rather have you do one thing and do it well than try and do 30 things and not be able to achieve that. But in the same respect, in order to be effective for long-term sustainable reduction, we probably need to have a comprehensive action plan. So it's a balance between between both of those. Don't get over your skis and put too many things on people's plates that they won't be able to achieve based on others' objectives and other things that are going on. But in the same respect, be cognizant that in order to have long-term sustainable reduction, we need to have an aggressive plan. And again, once these items are completed, we're going to put complete. Let's say that for whatever reason, within an action item, we weren't able to complete it. Maybe you're going to put a work in progress, or maybe based on another analysis, you're not able to complete it. So you're going to put removed, and then have some explanation within the progress over the last 12 months to talk about why you removed that particular action item. The work plan, work the plan. So again, the action plan is available at the ACCG websites. We will email those loss runs from ACCG out to everyone. You should be receiving those soon. If you'd like additional analysis, and we've talked about those, you can contact me. Again, dbeck@lgrms.com, and I'll send you that loss analysis, whatever format you're looking at. Again, communicate a plan to other affected parties. Make sure people have ownership, that it's not just you as the insurance resource or the safety coordinator. That's the plan of the organization. That's the plan of those particular departments. Ask for assistance from your ACCG risk control, LGRMS rep. They're more than happy to help you out and have the resources to do that. Review monthly and discuss progress. Again, the worst thing you could do is develop a very good plan and then stick it in your desk and then review it the next year we come through. We want to see you look at these things on a continual basis. Put aggressive dates in there. Make sure you're looking at, ask the questions. Make this a part of a regular meeting, other staff meetings. So this is reviewed during that, and they're held accountable within, whether it's the county manager staff meeting, whether it's department meeting, whatever it is, to ensure these things are reviewed on a continual basis. Again, celebrate successes and improve where needed. Not everything's going to work out. You need to look at those as opportunities, and continually look at your plan and say, are we meeting our goal? Are we meeting our objectives? And if we're not, adjust it to ensure that we have a better vision on how to reduce risks within your particular county. Again, update and tweak on an annual basis is kind of the expectations. With that being said, I'm going to open it up for some questions, and I'm going to go out and talk to some folks.
And this is Ashley. While you're looking, let me just interject, if you don't mind, that we hope to send those reports out today. Technology's on our side. If you do not have any losses, and there aren't many of you that don't have losses, but you would probably not get a report at all, there's only a report for you if you have claims. So this year, we are actually sending those reports to the safety contacts, the safety coordinators, as well as the insurance contacts that we have for workers' comp, just to spread that information a little bit more. And just know that the losses that were given to you look just like what Dan had showed you earlier, where we're totaling your losses for 3.5 years so that you can identify trends and where those losses are occurring by department and then by cause.
Very good, Ashley. Let's reach out and talk to Angela. Angela, are you out there?
I am.
You have any questions about the
No.
presentation?
No, sir.
Did you have your action plan last year?
I did.
How'd it go?
I guess as good as can be expected considering the two departments, the sheriff's office and public works.
Okay. Did you have any successes you'd like to share? Any opportunities you'd like to share?
Not at this time, no.
Okay. Okay. And I don't think, again, I think everybody has the same issues. Those are challenging throughout, but appreciate your fighting the good fight. Let's see. Arlene, are you out there? Arlene. Let's see. Holly Stevenson, are you out there?
I'm here, Dan.
Any questions from the presentation?
I don't think so. I was just going to make a comment that our LGRMS rep, Natalie Sellers, was a great help last year with any questions that I had during the process. So utilize those people for help.
I'm glad to hear that. I hope she gave you a good payment for that. Words of wisdom. How did your planning go? Did you have any successes you'd like to share? Is any opportunity?
Well, I can't think of specific successes, but just doing the form and looking at the numbers, and then headed down to the sheriff's office to have the sheriff sign the form. The chief deputy and the sheriff were kind of quite surprised at their numbers on these forms, so it kind of opened their eyes a little bit.
Good. That's what it's all about. And again, it's baby steps to some extent. I think last year was the first year. This year, I think people will get a little bit more integrated, though. They'll hopefully will work a little bit harder to understand where their issues are, because ultimately speaking, the cost is going to affect them. But they're people, you know, it's really sad to see, whether it's public works or sheriffs, these folks getting hurt. And if they can do something to control it, I think most of the good people within our counties will make those appropriate steps. So thank you very much, Holly. Jeanette, are you out there?
Hello.
So how are you? Any questions from the webinar?
No, sir.
No, sir. How did you complete an action plan last year?
I believe so. I can't remember.
Okay.
I can't remember. I'm sure. I think we did, because we got a new representative, and I think he came in and we talked. Unfortunately, I don't remember.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Well, again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Thank you very much. Got a person with their hand up. And Susan Milner. Susan Milner, can you hear me? Okay, maybe you can't, you don't have a mic. If you have a specific question, Susan, go ahead and just type it to me. That's okay. Ty, are you out there? Ty.
Hello.
You got any questions from the webinar?
Not right now.
Okay. Did you complete an action plan last year?
I just got into this position just about 2 months ago.
Okay, very good.
So I'm in a learning process.
I'll bet. So don't hesitate to pick up the phone and give me a call, give your field rep a call, and good luck with that. And again, it's a good tool to ensure everybody's participating in the process.
This is Ashley. You're not alone. There were several changes this year to the safety contacts, so this will be a new process for some folks.
Anything else, closing words, Ashley, you'd like to provide?
Well, I just want to say thank you, Dan, for putting on this webinar to explain the Safety Action Plan, and for the good work that you and your representatives do each and every day. And thank you to all of you that took the time to participate on the call today, and for the work that you do to keep your county safe. Thank you.
Now, and again, thanks to ACCG and their commitment to this process. Again, Ashley's been a big proponent of the action planning. I don't want, again, just my final words. Going through the motion on this is probably easy to do. You probably can go sit down with the department manager, or do this in your office and fill out an action plan. It's easy enough to do. It's not going to have any value, and the premise behind this is to have value. It is an extremely valuable tool if people participated in the right way. So I think Holly said that her field rep did a great job working with their. I would ask your field rep for help in coordinating this. Sit down with them, set up a meeting with your two department managers, whatever it is you need assistance with if you haven't done this before, or give me a call. We have no problem in providing resources to assist you in developing these action plans. It's an extremely valuable tool if it's used in the right manner. So whatever you need, if you're new, let us know. We don't expect miracles. We don't expect the solve world hunger, but we want to take the first steps to reducing the risks within our membership and ultimately reducing the premiums for our members. So with that being said, I'm going to say thank you so very much for participating. Have a great rest of the week, and don't hesitate to send me an email or give me a call if you have any questions. Thank you.